In this video I'm bringing you my list of the best naked 125cc motorcycles that you can buy in 2023. Kicking off the list at number 10, we have a great little bike from the Brighton-based firm. It's the SINNIS AKUMA. This is the only air-cooled bike on the list, and it doesn't have the most competitive spec, but it is full of fun factor, and we had a great time testing the 2022 model last year. Powered by a 125cc 4-stroke air-cooled single-cylinder motor, the AKUMA runs a 5-speed gearbox and kicks out 9.7 horsepower at 9,500 RPM and 8.5 Nm of torque at 7,500 RPM. Like I said, by no means competitive, but still respectable. Boasting a fantastic 123 miles per gallon, with its 13-litre fuel tank you can expect up to 350 miles in a full tank here, perfect for town and inner city commuting. As for top speed, in testing Brett saw a highly optimistic 68 miles per hour. For everyday top speed though, we can confidently say between 60 and 64 miles per hour. We see a 276mm disc up front and a 220mm disc on the rear with a combined braking system. Upside down telescopic forks and a monoshock, 14-inch wheels front and back, and surprisingly a 140 wide rear tyre. Seat height comes in at 820mm. Wet, the little AKUMA weighs 125 kilograms, nice and light. It's rather light in the tech department too, with a simple digital dash and LED lighting throughout. It comes in two colourways, Ionic Red or Carbon Black, and personally I love the red option. Priced at £2,599 plus on the road fees, this is a brilliant budget friendly option. So for pros, it's lightweight, budget-friendly and an economical option. As for cons, it's the Chinese manufacturing and low power figures. LEXMOTO enters 2023 with their retro-inspired offering, the RSS 125. It's got great spec, great visuals, and it's loaded with tech and takes 9th place on my list. Powering the RSS is a 125cc 4-stroke liquid-cooled single-cylinder engine rocking a 6-speed gearbox and producing 14.1 horsepower at 10,500 RPM. LEXMOTO haven't shared any details on any determined MPG, but expect over 300 miles on its full 14.5-litre fuel tank. In terms of top speed, it will reach 70 miles per hour. It's got a 300mm disc up front, 240mm disc to the rear running a combined braking system, telescopic forks, monoshock, 17-inch wheels front and back and a 140 wide rear tyre. Seat measures up to 810mm and it weighs in at 163 kilograms wet, which is heavy. It would be great to see LEXMOTO work their magic and shave off a few kilos. The RSS packs a 5-inch TFT display and has LED lighting all around. You've got two choices of colourway with crimson red or Tuscany yellow. Coming in at £2,899 plus on the road fees, this is a very competitive model for 2023. So for pros, it's got great spec, a TFT display and a budget price tag. As for cons, it would be nice to see ABS here and it is rather on the heavy side. In 8th place we have our final Chinese manufactured machine in the list, and it comes in the form of the ZONTES ZT125GK. ZONTES have knocked it out of the park this year with their Scrambler Cafe model, the ZT125GK. It's full of performance and tech, really tipping the scales of the budget bike market. With a whopping 17-litre fuel tank and averaging 95 miles per gallon, this bike will see around 350 miles on full tank. When it comes to top speed, you'll reach 70 miles per hour. With disc brakes front and back, Bosch ABS, upside down telescopic forks and a monoshock, 17-inch spoked wheels with a 130 wide rear, you can really feel the premium nature start to crawl into this corner of the global market. Seat height comes in at 770mm, which helps ease the heavier total weight of 160 kilograms. Now this GK is loaded with tech. We see a digital dash, keyless system, LED lighting all round, 2 USB charging ports as standard, slipper clutch and even an electronic tyre pressure monitoring system. When you factor in that this bike is priced at £3,599 plus on the road fees, this is an incredible suite. It comes in two basic colours, black or silver. So for pros, it's got awesome looks, great spec, a host of tech features, all with an undeniable budget price. As for cons, it is on the heavier side, and being Chinese built, it won't have the same reputation as its Japanese and European rivals. However, ZONTES are truly leading the way with massive improvements to Chinese motorcycle manufacturing. Now here at number 7, it's a bit of a surprise, it's the Kawasaki Z125. Now why isn't it further up the list? Well, in 2023 the competition is incredibly stiff, and I feel the Kawasaki has been somewhat left behind when it comes to tech and economy. Utilising a 125cc 4-stroke liquid-cooled single-cylinder engine with a 6-speed gearbox, the Z125 produces 14.7 horsepower at 10,000 RPM and 11.7 Nm of torque at 7,700 RPM. Of course, this is respectable and on the maximum CBT power limitations, but the Z125 will only see a top speed of 70 miles per hour, and I feel in some areas struggles against the competition. As for economy, Kawasaki have no MPG figures on their website, but users report an average of 90 miles per gallon, so combined with its 11-litre fuel tank, you can expect around 210 miles on a full tank. It's got ABS, a 290mm single braking disc up front, 220mm disc to the rear, telescopic forks and a monoshock, 17-inch wheels front and back and a 130 wide rear tyre. The seat height is 816mm and it weighs in at 146 kilograms. It comes with a simple digital dash and LED lighting. When we are seeing Chinese budget models come better equipped in the tech department, you really want Kawasaki to up their game. Whilst I feel it is lacking in tech, it is a fantastic looking 125s and comes dressed in two great new colourways this year, Pearl Storm Grey or Candy Lime Green. The Pearl Storm Grey model comes in at £4,399 and the Candy Lime Green option at £4,299. So for pros, it's got the Japanese reliability, good spec on paper and fantastic looks. As for cons, it's lacking in tech and doesn't have the best real world fuel economy. In at number 6, we have a European twist with the HUSQVARNA SVARTPILEN 125. The SVARTPILEN is, in my opinion, one of the best looking 125s ever made. With its rugged design and neo-retro styling, it perfectly blends new and old into a hot pot of tasty but subtle visuals. It's loaded with spec too for this year, so let's get into it. Powering the SVARTPILEN is a 125cc 4-stroke liquid-cooled single-cylinder engine with a 6-speed gearbox cranking out 14.7 horsepower at 9,500 rpm and 12 Nm of torque at 7,500 rpm. This will see the bike reach speeds up to 75 miles per hour. As for range, it's got a healthy 105 miles per gallon with its 9-litre fuel tank. You can expect around 210 miles here. It packs a large 320mm single disc up front and a 230mm disc to the rear, combined with Bibury calipers and Bosch ABS, which provides excellent stopping power. We see WP Apex telescopic forks and a monoshock, 17-inch spoked wheels, Pirelli Scorpion rally tyres and a whopping 150 wide rear. The seat height measures up to 835mm and it weighs in at 152 kilograms wet. These proportions and spec really start to make this feel like a big bike. Tech is light but stylish, with an analog style digital dash and LED lighting throughout. It's just in the one colour, but it's a great look and I can't really imagine any deviations from this palette here. Priced at £4,899, with this spec you can't go wrong. So for pros, it's a gorgeous bike, it's got fantastic spec and those big bike proportions. As for cons, it is on the heavier side and it does have a slightly small fuel tank. Taking 5th place, we have the GSX S125 from Suzuki. Suzuki have always held strong footing in the 125cc market and this year is no different. With its 124cc 4-stroke liquid-cooled single-cylinder engine producing 14.7 horsepower at 10,500 rpm and 11 Nm of torque at 8,500 rpm, with a 6-speed gearbox, its low weight of 135 kilograms wet gives it one of the best power-to-weight ratios in this class. Acceleration will be sprightly and top speed will sit around the 75 miles per hour mark. With an average of 117 miles per gallon and an 11-litre fuel tank, you'll see around 280 miles on a full tank. It's got disc brakes front and back, ABS, telescopic forks, a monoshock to the rear, 17-inch wheels and a 130 wide rear tyre. A seat height of 785mm alongside that low weight makes it very accessible. You've got 3 colour options too, with metallic Triton Blue, Titan Black and Pearl Brilliant White, with my favourite being the Pearl White. Priced at £4,699, I think it's a very fair offering. So for pros, it's got a great power to weight ratio, it's got fantastic economy and those 3 colour options. As for cons, it could have LED lighting throughout and in my opinion the looks are a little bit bland. In at 4 is the TUONO 125 from Aprilia. Taking heavy inspiration from its elder siblings, the TUONO is a real looker and has the performance to back it up. Powered by a 124cc 4-stroke liquid-cooled single-cylinder engine, with its 6-speed gearbox and sporty front fairing, this bike will see top speeds of up to 80 miles per hour. It pumps out 14.7 horsepower at 10,000 rpm and 11.2 Nm of torque at 8,000 rpm, but that sport-focused performance will rake in the economy, seeing an average of only 90 miles per gallon. With its 10-litre fuel tank, expect around 200 miles in range. We see a 300mm disc up front, 218mm disc to the rear, Bosch ABS, upside down telescopic forks, a monoshock, 17-inch wheels with a great 140 wide rear tyre. The seat height comes in at 820mm and the total wet weight is 144 kilograms. Tech is relatively light with a simple digital dash and LED lighting throughout. You've got 3 colourways to choose from, Aprilia Black, Lightning White and Arrow Grey. The TUONO 125 costs £4,650. So for pros, it's got a great top speed and fantastic looks. As for cons, it's not got the best fuel economy and it's rather light on tech. Into our top 3 now, and taking the 3rd spot on my list is the KTM Duke 125. Whilst this one shares a lot of its components with the SVARTPILEN 125, the Duke has won over the HUSQVARNA in terms of spec and tech. Powering the Duke is a 125cc 4-stroke liquid-cooled single-cylinder engine with a 6-speed gearbox that puts out 14.7 horsepower at 9,250 rpm and 12 Nm of torque at 8,000 rpm. It will see top speeds of around 75 miles per hour and boasts a decent 117 miles per gallon. With a brilliant 13.4 litre fuel tank, you can expect to cover around 340 miles on a full tank. It's got a 320mm disc up front, 230mm disc to the rear, with Bosch ABS providing safe and secure stopping power, WP Apex telescopic forks and a monoshock, 17-inch wheels with a massive 150 wide rear tyre. Seat height measures up to 830mm and the wet weight is kept low at 139kg. Again, great big bike proportions here. When it comes to tech, we see a TFT display, LED headlight and optional LED turn signals available for an eye-watering £380. We see classic KTM colourways with black and orange or white and orange. Priced at £4,799, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. So for pros, it's got excellent performance, a low weight and a fantastic range. As for cons, the optional extras are expensive, and whilst it has that TFT display, tech is light. This will be a rather controversial choice, but as a proud Honda fanboy, I'm giving our second place to the CB125R. Another real looker, this bike does the neo-retro styling unlike any other and is a personal favourite of mine. Let's get into spec. Powered by a 125cc 4-stroke liquid-cooled single-cylinder engine with a 6-speed gearbox, it produces 14.7 horsepower at 10,000 rpm and 11.6 Nm of torque at 8,000 rpm. A Honda typical economy averages a brilliant 128 miles per gallon, and with its 10.1 litre fuel tank, you'll see an expected 280 miles on a full tank. Top speed peaks at around 74 miles per hour. It's got a 296mm disc up front, a 220mm disc to the rear, ABS, Showa upside down telescopic forks and a monoshock, 17-inch wheels front and back and a solid 150 wide rear tyre. The seat height is 816mm and it has an ultra low weight of 130kg, boasting the best power to weight ratio on this list. You'll see sprightly acceleration here. Tech is light too, with a simple but clean digital display and LED lighting throughout. You've got a host of colourway choices with matte gunpowder black, matte jeans blue, matte krypton silver and candy chromosphere red. My personal favourite, the Krypton Silver option. Priced at £4,599, Honda are doing what Honda do best by offering up an economical and sensible option at a fair price point. So for pros, we've got that Honda reliability, stunning looks, fantastic big bike proportions and a wonderful fuel economy. As for cons, well, it's just a bit light on tech. As many of you have probably guessed, once again taking the ultimate #1 spot on my list is the Yamaha MT125. Packed with spec, tech and ultra cool looks, the MT125 is the undisputed king of not just naked 125s, but 125s across the board. Pulling its styling from its larger siblings, it is a real stunner. Powering the MT is a 125cc 4-stroke liquid-cooled single-cylinder engine with a 6-speed gearbox putting out 14.7 horsepower at 10,000 rpm and 11.5 Nm of torque at 8,000 rpm. It utilises Yamaha's VVA technology too, allowing for continuous and smooth power delivery. Pushing 80 miles an hour, it has the speed freaks on board, and with a mighty 134 miles per gallon and 10 litre fuel tank, allowing for an estimated 290 miles in range, it will have the frugal on board too. It's got a 290mm disc up front, 220mm disc to the rear, ABS, telescopic forks and a monoshock, 17-inch wheels with a 140 wide rear tyre. Seat height comes in at 810mm and it weighs 142kg wet. Nice and light. For tech, we see a 5-inch TFT display, LED headlight, traction control to keep you upright, and an assist and slipper clutch keeping things nice and smooth. Colourway choices come in Cyan Storm, Icon Blue, and Tech Black. For me, it's got to be Cyan Storm. Priced at £5,102, this is the most expensive and premium offering on the list, but with that plethora of tech and spec, it checks out in my books. So for pros, it's got excellent performance, fantastic fuel economy, vivid visuals, and it's loaded with tech. As for cons, there's just the one, and it's the premium price tag. So there you have it, my 10 best naked 125cc motorcycles for this year. Why not check out our top 10 125cc motorcycles for 2023? While you're at it, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.